Good morning and many thanks for watching KTN News. Welcome to this edition of News Center, where we are having a lot of discussions and some of the news items that you are following up for you today. We shall be going to Nakuru County a little bit later as we talk to lawyers with regards to the War Memorial Hospital and the court orders that are being issued. Equally, we shall be going to Nyeri County a little bit later, touch base with our reporter Clement Masombo on the president's tour of Nyeri County as he goes there to launch a lot of development projects, and also his conversation with the people of Nyeri County that we shall be touching base with our reporter a little bit later. But now we come back to have a discussion on education and employability. It is the dream of every parent and every student that after going through the rigorous studying, that when they get out, they have an opportunity to get into the job market in an easy way. But is that the case? In studio with me is Professor Washington Okeyo, Vice Chancellor, Management University of Africa, as we have this discussion on education and employability. Welcome on set, Professor. As we have this discussion now, it is always a dream of any parent and any student that you go through the process, which is education, and once you're done with it, you get into the job market. Just from the academia, how are we preparing these students for the job market?
Thank you very much, Dennis, for welcoming me to the studio this morning, and also thank you very much, KTN News, for welcoming me to this program and giving me the opportunity to discuss this very important subject on education and employability. Like you've rightly said, maybe I need to repeat that my name is Professor Washington Okeyo. I'm the Vice Chancellor of the Management University of Africa. Management University of Africa is a young university, right now about 12 years or so old, having started in 2011, focusing mainly in the nature of leadership and management, teaching entrepreneurship, teaching governance, particularly those areas of business management. That is what we focus on as a university at various levels, and I will get into that detail probably much later. But going back to the topic that, the question that you just asked, that many students come to the universities expecting to be provided with knowledge, and then after that, then they are released from the job market and expect to be employed or to be engaged in some economic activity based on the knowledge that they've acquired from the university. Obviously, it's an expectation that not only the students themselves have, but equally their parents, because it's the parents who pay their fees from the time when they enter into the education space, right from primary to secondary up to the university. So it's the expectation of everybody, really. Mm-hmm. And it's only fair that that expectation should be met. Now, the education landscape and employability are correlated in the sense that the higher somebody is educated, one would expect that they would easily get, some employment as soon as they finish their degree course. But it has changed over the time, over the period. I remember, and I can give myself as an example, when I went to school earlier on in the 70s, then I got into the university in the late 70s, and then did my degree course. Immediately I got out of the university. I didn't last before I got, unemployment. Actually, I walked straight into unemployment. Mm-hmm. And that was the norm most of those, those days, those years. More than 90% of people who went to the universities got their employment immediately. But I hasten to say that the population was sparse at that time. The population of people in Kenya was not very high as it is now. And the number of, companies, organizations, including government, agencies and the government, the public sector itself, really wanted people, to work. And there weren't too many qualified people. Fast forward to now, the situation has changed dramatically, because now the population has become much, much higher. We are about 50 million people. At that time, we are hardly 10 million. So we're gone up by maybe, a significant percentage. And as we grow in terms of population, the job market, the services that need to be provided, the products that need to be provided are not growing at the same rate. So, and therefore, you would expect that there are more people now who require to get employment. And so that is where the challenge is, that disconnect between the population and the people who are ready to be employed, and the number of organizations, companies and so on that should employ them. Secondly, there is the issue of which type of qualifications are required in the job market, so that when somebody gets out of the university, then they are able to get employment based on whichever qualifications that they acquire. And Prof, that is a factor.
And Prof, now you've just touched on actually where I was headed now. With the change in this landscape, the way you've mentioned now, that means that there is need for research and development, looking into what the market needs and giving that to the market, because the market dictates what it is it demands. Therefore, from the Management University of Africa, what are some of these courses that you see the market needs that you're offering to be able to make your students be ready for the market, giving the market what it is it wants?
Yes, and that's a very, very important question, because it is important to know what the market actually needs before you can mount a program in a university. And the process of mounting programs in the university, and we use that at the Management University of Africa, involves doing what we call a market survey. The market survey involves going around the market itself, the various companies, organizations that offer various goods and services, the government sector, to ask them exactly what gaps are there in the market. And using that information, then we design the programs, or we change modify the kind of programs that we already have to be able to address the gaps that are inherent in the market itself. And so some of the programs that we offer, we've realized that there is a huge demand, particularly in the services sector, that are driven by technology. ICT programs, for example, have become very, very popular because the whole world is being driven by ICT. And therefore, it is important for a student to get to understand and be able to utilize the knowledge that they have learned from ICT to be able to solve societal problems. And in the process of doing that, we realize that the combination of subjects that a student needs to undertake, as they go through their university education, is very, very important. So that if, for example, and we offer subjects like, Bachelor of Commerce at the bachelor's level, so that a student who is doing Bachelor of Commerce is not only doing the traditional accounting, finance, human resource, management, sort of subjects within that Bachelor of Commerce. There is a way of making a cocktail, so that combination, for example, if you introduce now ICT in the Bachelor of Commerce, ICT is an application that is used by a lot of accountants, a lot of financial analysts, a lot of human resource professionals to be able to do their job. So you find that somebody who does traditional Bachelor of Commerce without combining it with another subject like ICT, when they go out in the job market, they're not actually ready, to work. It's like they have to be taken through another training. And employers have talked about this. They have told us in universities, the kind of graduates that you're giving us out here, when I give them a desk to work, yes, they have the knowledge, but they're not able to fit into that environment readily. I have to take them for another training. So what we're doing at the Management University of Africa is also ensuring that apart from giving them the traditional knowledge in the various subject areas, because it's the students who come to tell us that this is what we want to do based on what we offer. Then we advise them and tell them, okay, as you are doing that traditional course that you have come in to do, we advise you to also take in other courses like ICT, taking other courses, soft skills courses. For example, to do with things to do with communication, things to do with innovation, yeah, so that these can then prepare the student as they move out there to the job market. They will be fluent in communication, because you could be very good technically, but in terms of being able to articulate yourself, you're not good, then you'll not be ready for the job market.
And now, Professor, there is the next subject that is being talked about right now, is the question of job opportunities are scarce, they're very limited. Therefore, from a point of institution as the academia, how do you then prepare your students so that even as they get out there and hope to get employed, that them themselves as well become job creators, become entrepreneurs moving forward?
Yes, that's a very critical issue, especially at this time in our country, where the unemployment rate is about, in the year 2020, it was about 32%. It could have, climbed way higher than that now. So it means out of every 100 graduates that we produce, only roughly 70 of them, get employment, or less, 60-something, 68 or so, get into employment. And that is a very sad thing, because where do the other 30 go? What we are doing at the Management University of Africa is to encourage our students. And we have created channels where students are able to do various combinations of subjects. For example, entrepreneurship is a very, very important subject in our university. And we teach entrepreneurship at every level in all the courses that we offer in the university. And this is because we have realized that if we release the students into the job market and we have not equipped them with knowledge and skills around entrepreneurship, then they will not be able to, even during the period when they're still looking for the job, for formal employment, assuming that they eventually get it, they can be utilizing their entrepreneurship skills to start their own businesses, to do, provide certain services, so that they are able to at least manage themselves as they look for bigger things. In the process, a lot of students actually realize that when they start doing their own work, creating their own jobs, it is better for them to be self-employed than even now looking for employment, because then they're able to create their own time, they're able to plan how they can grow their businesses and even employ other people. And we've had very interesting feedback from our students who have gone through our university when they graduate, that the knowledge which they have learned, they have actually used it to create their own jobs and employ themselves and also employ others. So we are using that as a way to make sure that our students understand that once as they do their traditional subjects, their traditional combinations, they need these other combinations so that they are ready and prepared when they go into the job market. They don't just walk into the street with a certificate. And what I do normally during the orientation, I always advise our students that, okay, you have come to this university, Management University of Africa, to say get a degree in management and leadership, which is one of our flagship programs. But all of you at the end of it, more than 90% of you will graduate with management and leadership. So as you walk out of that gate at the end of your graduation, all of you are going to walk out with a certificate. But you, as an individual, what exactly will you have? Can you say that I have something that is different? I, Dennis, have got this, which the other people don't have. Now, you need to choose an objective as you walk into this university. Within the first 100 days, I advise the students to do that. Choose an objective that you want to start a company by the time you leave this university. You want to, if you're already employed, you want to have had a promotion. If you're not employed, then you want to have gotten employment before you leave this university. So one of those three options. If you choose that by the time you leave the university, you graduate from the university, you want to have started a business, then start that business when you are here, within the first 3 months or thereabouts. So that as you are going to class, as you are learning new things, new knowledge, and so on, you are also growing and making your business grow with you. And the good thing is that we have experienced people in the university. A lot of us in management University of Africa are actually from the industry. We are not originally, pure academicians. So we have that balance of the industry experience and knowledge and the academic knowledge. And that balance is very important. So we act as consultants to our students so that once one starts a business, then we take them through the process of starting that business, growing that business, and making it better and better. And a lot of our students actually come out with businesses which are already running. The other thing that we have is we have what we call Innovation and Incubation Center. Innovation and Incubation Center is a center where, and this week we have actually Innovation Week in our university running, even as I speak here now. From here I'm going to our main campus in Kisaju, to preside over the Innovation Week. And that is where the students showcase their innovations that they have come up with. These innovations are incubated in the Innovation Center through a process where they come up with ideas, then we help them develop those ideas, sieve them into commercially viable ideas, and then show them how they can get financing and so on and so forth before making them come out into business. And we are spreading this one out into the community. We are creating what we call entrepreneurship hubs around us in Kisaju and also in South Sea, where we have our other campus, so that we can create a hub where community people can come in. They present ideas about their businesses, those who are struggling with their businesses. Then we take them through the process of how they can improve their businesses.
So that is more of CSR to the community, which is...
It's CSR to the community, but it is also an important thing because it is our students who are actually running these entrepreneurship hubs so that the students can get the experience of the kind of problems the communities are having and offer solutions now from a theoretical perspective, but then they gain from a practical perspective based on the information and knowledge that they're getting from the community.
And now, Professor, there is the new curriculum that has been introduced by the government through the Ministry of Education, that is the CBC curriculum. And these, in the years to come, will be the order of business all the way to the universities. Therefore, how are you then marrying these two so that you get ready when this gets to your doorstep?
Yes, the issue of the new curriculum that is being implemented right now, I think they started implementing it about 6 or 7 years ago, or thereabout, is caused by the need to kind of improve on what we had before. That is the 844 system of education. And the reason why it is being improved is because when the 844 system of education was launched and, at the beginning stages of its implementation, it was hoped that it will shift the way of teaching and passing knowledge to the students from the theory-based approach to the practical-based approach. That was basically why 844 was brought. But somewhere down the line, something happened, and it didn't work out that way. We ended up by doing sort of summative, what we call summative, preparation of students, so that we look at the end of what they have learned and basically assess them and examine them based on the theoretical knowledge rather than the practical knowledge. And that is why the government has seen it fit to, bring in the CBC system, the competency-based curriculum, system. Now, the intention of this system is very, very good. But I always say that any system is as good as the way it is implemented. If the implementation process is poor, then the result is the output is going to be poor. It's a system thing where you have the input, you have the process, and then you have the output. So you have the input. If the processing is bad, then you end up with a bad output.
And briefly, Professor, because time is not on our side, I want you to just briefly talk about TVET and how, because we know TVET is now being pushed as an alternative where people can go to, it's not a must that they go to the universities. Briefly, how are you handling that, and how do we make sure that those that didn't get to campus also embrace TVET institutions?
Okay, as I go to TVET, let me just finish a little on CBC. CBC is a very good system. because it is going to focus more on the practical aspect of learning rather than the theoretical aspect of learning. That is why the graduates right now are not ready for the market. So when CBC comes to its fullness, then it is going to produce graduates who are market ready, who are job ready, because they will have learned the practical skills when they are still in the education system. So coming to TVET, TVET is a very important sort of vehicle, for training students. And it has come as a result. We had them before, but remember, we used to have the village polytechnics. We have Kenya Polytechnic, we have Mombasa Polytechnic, we have Kisumu Polytechnic. All these were converted into universities. Yes. And that created the gap at that level. Now that gap is what is now being filled now by the government focusing on TVET. And TVET is supposed to address the needs of the students who did their various programs, maybe at KCSE level, or they have gone to the university, but they still realize that they need some practical, hand knowledge, to be able to bridge the gap between the theory that they have learned and the practical skills that they need to be able to do their job. So that TVET is very, very important. And we as a university are focusing on that TVET. We have already set up our vehicle, which is the MWATI, we call it MWATI, the Management University of Africa Technical Institute, where we are focusing on taking the TVET, based students. We have already registered with Teta, the authority that is responsible for that. And we are offering hand trainings like the ones in tailoring, the beautification, electrical, basically certificate, artisan courses, and diploma courses, plumbing, carpentry, and stuff like that. So we are already doing that, and we are encouraging, students who may have done their KCSE, and some of them think that they got a D or a D+, and therefore their life is done like that. Now I'm telling them that their life is not done, because the government has created a very clear pathway, so that even if you get a D or a D+, you can always go back, do your TVET, climb up, do diploma, then come and do bachelor's, even up to PhD level.
That's a good place to end, Professor. Thank you very much. We wish you the very best, even as we continue to prepare our students for employability. That is Professor Washington Okeo, Vice Chancellor, Management University of